Y'all know I'm like the worst person ever, right? Just a real piece of work. There is hate in my heart and it pays no rent, just utilities. Malice is a thing I'm a big fan of. In fact, I even have several Twitter accounts dedicated to posting updates on their every move. It's honest, unpaid work. Hi again, guys, and despite being a petty, vindictive, evil little thing, I still live within the bounds of polite society. I sometimes do things that people ask me exactly the way they ask me to, and malicious compliance is just that. When you do what's literally asked, but not the spirit of what's being asked. According to the malicious compliance subreddit at least, let me try to give you an example. A decade ago, this crossing guard at my school helped kids cross the road. This dude wrote it in British terms, by the way, so I'm gonna translate it for my viewing audience. He was 80 and came out of retirement to do this job since no one else wanted it. Which is fair, everyone's gotta have hobbies. It's why I'm glad that I still like playing games as an adult, because I could be bedridden in the cancer ward and still play God of War on my Steam Deck. He and his other old geezer friends went on holiday at the same time every year together. He gave the school board plenty of notice for the vacation, but they told him no because it was the middle of the school year and they wouldn't budge an inch on it. They basically told him to jump into some Joker acid and never come back if he ends up going away anyways. His response was, alright, bet, and he left and didn't come back. These morons forgot this guy was already loaded and was just bored in retirement, so no one's filled that position since. You know, sometimes old people just hate minorities, but other times they do some real gangster stuff, and I can respect that. This was a well-meaning member of the community doing some work he really didn't have to, and he got railroaded because of it. Well, guess who's driving the trolley this time? Now you can only watch as the kids he used to protect get run over by the cars he was keeping at bay while toddlers cross the road. There's blood on your hands, school board. If you enjoy this video, this card at the end will take you to another like it, and only 20% of y'all are subscribed with notifications on. If you sub and hit that bell icon, you'll never miss an upload, and you can always repress your memories of watching my videos later. I called my bank's helpline, and the rep said they sent a code to verify my identity, but the text they sent me said they'd never ask for a code and not to share it. So I told the helpline what the text they literally sent me said literally, and they got upset. Maybe rephrase your text message wording, fellas. Alright, listen, you snot-nosed little jerk. You know it's not a scam, and you pointed out that you called the number yourself. Just make that poor customer service worker's day a little easier. All that said, though, I have been saying this shit. When I'm booting up Fortnite, Epic Games tells me I need to enter my password to log in. But then the stupid little loading screen says Epic Games will never ask for your password. How the fuck was I supposed to log in then, you goddamn liars? The difference is I still gave that code to them, and that recklessness will probably catch up to me sooner or later. About a decade ago, I was driving home from clothes shopping for a new job when my car self-immolated with me and my kid inside. Listen, everybody tried to be their favorite Ben 10 alien at some point. Heat Blast is just a popular pick amongst cars. My laundry and all the clothes I bought, including my work clothes, turned to ash. Like Pokemon, they catch them on fire. How many poorly incorporated references do you think I can cram into this thing? I told my boss at my old job that I wouldn't be in on my last day because I needed to buy a new car and from puffing too much reefer. I mean from smoke inhalation issues. That's the rated E way the OP said it. My boss told me I need to return my work clothes or it would be taken out of my check. I told her the clothes were literally indistinguishable from a dead cat's ashes, but she says to bring them in anyways. So I came in with a dime bag full of soot and mud that used to be my clothes. I recorded the interaction and got a weird ass look from my boss, and it's now been 10 years, I'm at my new job, and I never had that taken out of my pay. Fuck it, we ball. That's a direct quote from the text, by the way. I feel a little bad for the boss here because they had to have had either selective vision or hearing. They got told, yeah, my car almost got firebombed with me and my kid inside. All my clothes are gone and I've been walking around naked for the last 16 hours. I can't come into work or return my work clothes because they're gone. They saw a picture of that melted laundry hamper and interpreted it as, this punk thinks they can steal from the company. I'm sure it was just a big misunderstanding. Bosses and managers are notoriously empathetic to the problems in their employees' lives after all. I've never had one I didn't like. Okay, I haven't really been reading the titles up till now, but this one made me giggle. You won't let me work from home? Okay, I'll fart up the office. I really related to that. I have a home office because I work from the moldy, rotting husk of my apartment. So both my cat and people I'm on Discord calls with are basically living in the trenches of World War I when they first started fooling around with mustard gas. I produce a one-of-a-kind chemical weapon. Noxious fumes can be transported from my butthole to your nose via Ethernet connection. If any military contractors want to give me a check to dissect my body and experiment with, I'm looking for at least 8 figures. The meds I'm on make me fart a bunch. It's funny, but it's gotten bad recently. I normally work from home and asked my office if I could work from home during my one in-office day. I said it was from the side effects of my meds, but I kept it vague. They said no dice because new people were starting at the job today and it would look bad if I wasn't there. I didn't think that was a good enough reason, but I still popped a gas pill and went to work anyways. That gas pill wore off around 10 a.m. and I didn't get to tell my boss the specifics of the side effects flex. When I first started ripping ass, I tried to excuse myself whenever I felt it coming on, but I was like a diesel engine in that motherfucker. I just couldn't hold it in and also get work done. So I started spritzing up the room with all the new hires inside full of greenhouse gases. Word probably got to my boss after because I got told I could go home during lunch break. The OP said they don't know what the quote fallout would be, and my guess would probably be of the nuclear variety. And honestly, this doesn't even feel that malicious, just everybody in this situation was working off incomplete information. The poster isn't exactly sure why they need to go into work, but their boss doesn't exactly know why OP needs to stay home. Even OP said this might fit more neatly on an Am I the Asshole post, and I would say yes. On this work day specifically, you were functionally a walking, talking fart machine. You were just a butthole blowing out methane and not much else. Damn, I just gotta stop bringing up women as their body parts. Here's a low-stakes, clever little kid story. My husband took my 8-year-old son on a camping trip, and they got grimy as shit. We met at my grandparents' house on the way home to celebrate a cousin's birthday, and I asked my kid to shower before eating since he looked like a 1920s coal miner. We agreed he'd shower after eating cake and ice cream, so after dessert, I told him he had to shower now. He went, "Nuh-uh, we agreed after cake and ice cream. I've only eaten ice cream, dumbass." This is the point where most parents would start counting to 3 or threateningly saying their kids' full names with some warning anger in their tone. That way the kid scurries off and does what they're told so they won't get in trouble. But instead, this parent decided, damn, I got. Guess I have to post it to Reddit now. I used to have an annoying coworker. He was lazy, complained all the time, and unmotivated towards the job, but very motivated to screw around whenever he got the chance. One night, it was my job to mop up during closing. This meant filling a bucket with water and floor cleaner, splashing it all over the ground, scrubbing it down hard, and vacuuming it. Very efficient. I got to the front counter, and this dickhead is standing in the middle of where I need to clean. I ask him to move. He says no, so I plead with him that I'm just trying to get this done, and he's still just being a pedantic little prick about it, going, yeah, nah. So I threatened to dunk tank him in mop water if he doesn't move. He goes, I dare you. So I fucking did it. Then he spent the next hour complaining how his socks were wet. That was actually a very satisfying lead up and conclusion. They named every major character trait this guy has and showed an example of him displaying every single one of those character traits in the story. I really don't understand people like this. Like, why are you choosing to make your coworker's job harder when getting out of their way would be little to no inconvenience of yourself? You really only get leeway to be a nuisance like this if you build up goodwill and a rapport with your fellow wage slave. But even then, you have to know when to stop so they can get their stuff done and go home to cry in their bed. What did the coworker even need to stand there for? Was he doing his own job that he didn't want to get interrupted during? Doubtful. Listen, guys, everyone's got their limits with how much annoying stuff they're willing to put up with. And my recommendation would be to think very carefully about how much you're willing to push those limits, especially with people who you have to see all the damn time, as you'll deal with the consequences of getting on their nerves all the time, sooner or later. I draw furry porn as a second job. Great lead-in. Fits right at home on this channel. My sister shared a room with me at the time, and she loves her privacy. She does some extreme stuff to keep her privacy, like locking me out of the room and not letting me near her while she's on the laptop, and molding if I get even 1 degree of vision on one of her screens while she's using it. We ended up switching to a different room at one point, and she put her desk at an angle where I can see what's on it, and I put mine at an angle where I can see the room, but she can't see my screen. My sister demanded that I turn my desk around so she could see what I'm up to and make sure I'm not screen peeking her. I tried to remind her, yo, I draw furry porn. I don't know if you want to see that, but she insists. After 2 weeks of her looking at naked furry art that she could never have conceptualized before this time, I put my desk back its original position to see if she demands I turn it back around again. And I never heard a peep from her about it again. Listen, this is the only scenario I can think of. I imagine the sister was actually trying to sort out some internal shit without admitting to it, like, fuck, am I a furry? I mean, I know my sister draws that weird stuff. Maybe I can soft launch whether I like it or not. That's the only explanation I can think of for why she'd subject herself to seeing all that, even knowing what that entails. And then a fortnight passes, as in 2 weeks, not the battle pass, and she goes, well, I know I'm not a furry for sure now. Time to never bring this up again. Then her sister turns the desk back around, she doesn't have to keep looking at furries in precarious situations, and she never has to admit why she really wanted the monitor visible to her. 20 years ago, I had an orange cat. That's an immediate giveaway that this cat is stupid and doesn't know it's good for it. I would give him water out of the tuna fish can all the time. When he heard a can opener, he would come up to me and beg for tuna water. But one time, I opened a can of spinach, and my cat heard the can opener and started begging for the water. I tried to convince this spinach-brained little idiot that he'd regret it, but of course he doesn't speak English, so he keeps reaching up and scratching my leg asking for the water. Eventually I caved and gave him his spinach water, and after he tried it, he started sputtering and looked at me like he was going to develop laser vision. I really tried to tell that moron. I had to open another can of spinach after that, but now this cat wants this mystery juice even more, scratching up my leg even harder. I gave him that spinach water a second time, and after diving in, the kitty came up looking like he'd been waterboarded. He gave me his best Homelander impression that day. I'm gonna be so real. I have never heard of someone Pavlov's dog a cat this hard. That dweeb learned the consequences of his actions the hard way and still didn't trust you to have his best interest at heart even after the fact. He's so dumb that he came back and did it a second time, like anything was gonna change. Maybe if you put up another fight with him, he would have gotten the message, but he's orange and those cats are just kind of chronically dumb. But I don't really know how I feel about malicious compliance in regards to an animal. Still, it wasn't like the pet owner didn't try their hardest. Regardless, I'm gonna wrap this video up here. That card I mentioned should be on screen. Be sure to like and subscribe. Anyways, this has been Kwite, and please don't maliciously comply with things I ask you guys to do. I'm already paranoid enough that no one will ever take me at my word.